What is up, everybody? I'm Johnny Blacklight. Welcome to the first episode of Blacklight File 237. On this show, I'm going to be talking about like weird stuff, creepy stuff. It's going to be kind of an amalgamation of like UFOs, cryptids, maybe some conspiracy theory stuff, odd stuff, creepy stories, Reddit stories, just all that weird stuff. So, and today we're just going to be looking at a bunch of TikTok videos. Kind of looking into some rabbit holes, maybe diving into some. I don't really have a plan. I'm just going to kind of go for it and kind of see what we find. So let's do it. Let's get right into it.
This animal creature thing was huge. It did have big black eyes. It jumped 3 feet from the circle here. Then it jumped to here. Ruby stated that she was scared for her life. She thought that whatever this thing was going to jump either on top of her car or attack her. This creature looked both ways and it jumped into the water. And just 2 days later, they found a body on the other side of the bayou where this thing was coming from. Going down this Houston bayou creature rabbit hole, I come to find that many of you guys have also seen something very strange in the Houston areas. From Southeast Houston to North Houston to West Houston. There may be something lurking in the Houston area. This TikToker stated she had a similar experience driving home late night after work while talking on the phone with her friend near Chimney Rock. And if you know where Chimney Rock is right there in Uptown. She saw this tall.
So what do you guys think about this one? There's the conspiracy theory going on right now about the bayou, Buffalo Bayou in Houston, and whether or not there's an active serial killer in that area, or whether or not it's some sort of being or entity or cryptid or something like that. I've seen some here and there. I haven't really dived down this rabbit hole yet, but I mean, today might be the day. I'm not far from Houston, so who knows, man? Maybe that might be a fun blacklight trip to go maybe try to see what we can find and see if we do see anything weird in the Houston area. I don't know. Stay tuned.
A black shadow figure up on one of the buildings, moving from rooftop to another like it stretched its arms and pulled itself across. She told her friend and she said, "Girl, that must be a giant," because she was far away and it still looked huge. She stated that she felt the same fear she described and glad to know that she's not the only one seeing stranger things in Houston. Another TikToker stated that I was reminding her of a story her brother told her. He's older than her and in his 40s. He stated that he skipped school one time with a friend and went to the woods here in Houston along the bayou. The landscape was much more different then, and he said he came face to face with something huge with wings. He said as he got older, he heard about the Mothman, and he told her that that's the only thing that he could describe it as, or something similar. Next video, I'll be sharing your experiences with the Houston bayou creature, and trust me.
What the fuck is that? It's getting higher.
This is a video taken near Buffalo Bayou in Houston. Apparently, according to the post. I don't know.
I don't know.
No, what? Whoa.
What?
Oh my god. Did you see that? Are you
Yes,
seeing this
I'm
right
seeing
now?
it. I'm seeing it.
It
I'm
made
seeing
a-
it. It just made a ring.
Like making smoke
It made
rings.
like a
It's
smoke ring.
weird.
Now the ring is getting further away.
Who knows if
Does
this
it
is real,
parachute?
though?
Like
So
no
much AI
water
these
through
days.
it?
What are we
It has a
witnessing
light
right
that's
now? Look. What are we seeing right now?
Oh my god.
What are we seeing right now?
Sky jelly. That's my theory.
Hey,
Sky
what's it
jellyfish.
doing?
They're maybe a thing.
Oh no! Look, look.
Allegedly.
Did it just? Is it getting bigger?
Dimmer?
What is that? But you see, it's like brighter in front of it.
Yes, it's cruising, man. It's like a light. It's like a
Fuck.
What?
bright looking
Oh, when it's like
It's like
dissipating.
smoke
No,
or something.
we saw that
Maybe.
shit.
What the fuck?
It is gone now.
Look, you can
it's-
still see an orb. Look and look.
I don't know. They seem genuine.
The camera is like showing it more.
Definitely doesn't sound like AI audio. That's for
Wait,
sure.
wait,
It's right there.
Yeah.
But you can barely see it.
Oh, look, the camera's picking it up more. But to our eyes right now,
We
it
can't really
looks almost
see
like
it.
a faint cloud.
Yeah.
It just disappeared.
It looks like a fucking cloud now.
Interesting. What do you think? What do you think of that is? Let me know in the comments below.
On September 22nd, I posted this video of what looks like to be a black creature flying in the sky.
I saw
in
this.
North Houston. And if you haven't seen the video, no worries. Let me show you real quick and get back to the topic. Of course, we can't forget about the news that has been going around lately in the Houston area. 22 bodies have been found and been pulled out of Houston bayous alone in 2025. Where does this connect? I'm going to tell you something, a story that is from a local Houstonian. However, I want you to keep an open mind with this, okay? Only because this right here is very new. We haven't heard anything about this. However, is it possible we may have something lurking in the Houston bayous targeting people instead of someone? Getting back to my video that I posted, someone commented under my post, where is the lady that said she saw a big animal / creature thing down where all the bodies have been found and that it jumped into the water?
I think I
And
heard about that. I think I heard about that too.
She tagged me and she did. I'm gonna show you her story, the TikToker that she's talking about. This TikToker named Ruby Maya, this one is the person that other TikToker was talking about. She commented on some random's TikTok where they said something like running at night in Buffalo Bayou because it hits different. And Ruby commented on this video telling her story. She said, some type of animal, human creature, this thing was huge with big black eyes and it jumped like 3 feet up to the other side of the street. Then it jumped where I marked the dot at. It looked both ways and jumped in the water. This was in June around 1 a.m. 2 days later, they found a body on the other side where this thing was coming from. I drove home immediately. I was in complete shock. I told my dude and I even told my friend in text, which I need to find to prove I am not lying. I couldn't even sleep. She also commented another thing, why has the park has been closed for months now? Why is it fenced up so high? Last time they even had cameras in the field, which was so weird. I'm running out of time. Stay. In the summer of 1950.
I've heard of this one, Houston Batman. I was researching a little bit of this not too terribly long ago. Something I thought was kind of interesting to look into. Mothman's a pretty interesting one for me, and the different Mothman-like entities that people have seen back in the day. There's a lot of sightings, a few, I would say, 50s, 60s, stuff like that. This is one of them.
Houston police received one of the strangest reports they had ever heard. A man with bat-like wings flying over the city at night. Witnesses claim it wasn't just a shadow or a trick of light. They said they saw a human figure with glowing eyes and wings stretching over 12 feet wide. A young Houston housewife named Hilda Walker was sitting on her porch of her home on East 3rd Street along with her neighbors Judy Mayer, age 14 at the time, and Howard Phillips, age 33 at the time. That's when they heard a loud whoosh. They looked up and saw the creature perched on a telephone pole before it vanished into the night sky. Locals started calling him the Houston Batman. And the story spread fast. Papers wrote about it, investigators came out, and even skeptics admitted something unusual was happening in Houston that summer. Fast forward, it is now 2025. I posted a chilling video of something black flying across the Houston sky late at night, and that is what actually opened the door to finding out about the Houston Batman. Somebody told me their experience. It reminded them of the time when they were younger and playing volleyball. They looked into the sky and saw a big black shadow like it was flying and suddenly disappeared into the clouds. It freaked them out because they thought they imagined it. They thought it was a dragon, and they know they sound crazy, but what it really was, and it wasn't a helicopter and sure wasn't a plane.
Interesting. Yeah, it's always interesting when you see, like, when you hear multiple things and you hear somebody get reminded of something they saw that's similar and weird, and then they bring it up, and it kind of correlates to maybe a bigger picture of the same story or the same location or something like that. I don't know. Obviously, it doesn't prove anything, but it kind of maybe adds a little bit to it to make you kind of think. So yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
This is happening just 30 minutes away from where I live. And this year alone, over a dozen bodies have been pulled from the waters of Buffalo Bayou Park in Houston, Texas. And yet, no one can quite explain why. Police say that there's no signs of a serial killer, and that most of these deaths look like drownings or accidents. But the details aren't adding up, and families are demanding answers, like the family of U of H student Jade McKissick, found dead in Brays Bayou back in September. She was young, vibrant, studying strategic communications, and suddenly gone. And the cause of death, still undetermined. A few months before that, Salome Garza, 34 years old, found in Buffalo Bayou. His mother said that he knew how to swim, but yet somehow still drowned. His mother has been calling the office to see if there's an update on the cause of death, but was told that the toxicology report could take up a year to complete. Each case, a different life, same ending. Pulled from a Houston bayou, with no clear reason why. City officials say it's a coincidence. Locals aren't so sure. As the number of bodies rises, so does the unease. Is it the bayou itself? Dangerous currents, debris, and darkness? Or is there something, or someone, hiding in plain sight? For now, all we have are questions.
Interesting. Yeah, it feels like it's definitely got to at least be a serial killer. I mean, it feels like too much to be coincidental. Maybe the officials don't want to admit that it's a serial killer because then it puts more pressure on the police and stuff like that to find said serial killer. So I don't know. It could be one of those things. It's definitely something I want to look more into. Is it some sort of entity or monster? I mean, probably not, but it's still interesting to look into and still just kind of a creepy possibility, I guess, that, some of us believe that maybe there's more going on than what we know about. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of unexplained things that happen, and maybe there's different reasons why we don't know, and maybe we just don't know those reasons. I don't know. Kind of confusing myself a little bit here, but something's going on. Something's fishy for sure. I definitely want to look more into it though.
If you're new here, I usually talk about some pretty scary stuff, but Houston, listen close. Buffalo Bayou Park might be hiding something way darker. Follow now because the next headline could drop at any moment. Yo, for years, bodies have been recovered from Buffalo Bayou, the 53-mile waterway running through Houston. Locals now call it the Buffalo Bayou Park serial situation because too many recoveries keep happening in the same stretch of water. And here's what makes it worse. People who walk the park at night say they feel stalked, hear footsteps trailing them, or see items left abandoned on the trails. But is this just crime and accidents or something far more calculated? Harris County logged more than 3,500 missing person reports in a single year, and yet Buffalo Bayou keeps surfacing in reports of bodies being found. Too often, too close together, that pattern has people whispering, is there a serial unaliver operating around the Buffalo Bayou?
See, that's what I think a lot of people are saying right now with this case is that it just feels like there's definitely something going on. There's just too much. There's too many missing people. There's too much of the same case kind of happening over and over again with people that don't really seem to be like shady characters or anything like that. They just seem to be kind of like regular young people who are just kind of winding up in these, horrible situations here. The creepiness of feeling like you're being watched is weird. Gut feelings and intuitions, I feel like, are something we don't really know a lot about, but there's a reason why that's a thing, I think. So that could be something too.
Park. According to the Houston Chronicle, police have recovered multiple bodies from the bayou in just the past 2 years, and officials blame factors like currents, drugs, and the homeless population, but critics argue those explanations don't cover the sheer frequency or the eerily similar locations. It's not just Buffalo Bayou Park crimes anymore. It's the consistency that has people calling it the Buffalo Bayou Houston body case and fueling speculation of a serial presence in the area. If you're from Houston or you've walked Buffalo Bayou Park, did you see anything strange? Abandoned shoes, police tape, or a smell in the air? Travelers, you too. Did the water feel different? Did you get that gut level unease walking near it? Drop your stories in the comments and hit the follow right now, because if this really is a serial in Houston, the next update could break before anybody is ready. The worst part, most people ignore patterns until it's too late, but not you because you're still here. So hit the follow button because Buffalo.
I don't know. Interesting.
This is the creepiest shit. So I live in an RV, and we have like a creek and like property out there. Let me show you what I see from my...
Creepy camping stories is another thing I really am interested in. I don't personally camp myself, but I watch a lot of like scary vids or creepy vids and on YouTube. And the solo camping stuff is so creepy, man. The RV living or camping in your car or even just in a tent by yourself, and then like some weird stuff's going on with somebody or something, or hearing stuff. It's so creepy. So good though. I really like that content. So I don't know. Let's see what this is about.
My window. So when I look at my window, there's old fencing, and then there's like black tarp stuff that's kind of hanging on the leftover posts. Okay, no big deal until you get to that one. What?
Whoa. Creepy.
Tell me you see what I see. This is the creepy.
That's super weird,
So
whatever
I
that
live in
is.
an RV, and we have like a creek.
I mean, it could be set up. It could be in Halloween decorations he sat out there. Somebody sat out there. Who knows? But still creepy, regardless.
We are on the most haunted road in Texas, in Huntsville, Texas, Bowden Road, also known as Demon Road. There are a lot.
This kind of stuff is also very interesting to me as well. The like haunted locations and haunted roads, and I was a big like Bermuda Triangle kid. I was like reading books about that when I was really young, and just like interested in odd places and liminal space and stuff like that. So yeah, these creepy haunted roads are fun and have a cool atmosphere. Because like I've said before, I'm an atmosphere guy in general. Like I like atmosphere in films, but in real life too. You know, I like to experience it and immerse myself in it, and maybe make some content around it. So stay tuned for some creepy content pretty soon. So yeah, or creepy outside of the studio.
A lot of supernatural encounters that have been said to occur on this road. It was settled in the 1830s. Martha Palmer Cemetery, which was named after Martha Palmer in 1954, is at the end of this road, and we will be headed there in just a few minutes right before dark. But some of the paranormal experiences that people are said to have on this road are unexplained red lights, apparitions of children, handprints being left on your car and your car windows, and there's even said to be a little boy who rides a tricycle who follows you home and suffocates you when you sleep.
Oh, geez, that escalated quickly.
We are on the most
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think we might skip that one. Yeah, we might not go there. Jeez, we get suffocated by a little boy ghost. Sounds horrible. No, but seriously, stuff like that is very interesting and cool. And like hear a knock on your window or a handprint or something like that. It's pretty, it's like urban legendy. You know, I like that about it. Very campfire story.
Yep. What are you? That looks like a gigantic spider.
The hell is that? Is that AI? I mean, I figured it would move.
Yeah.
If it was AI. I agree with this person. If it moved, I would pass away
It
too.
looks like a gigantic spider.
Cool. If you know what it is, leave me a comment. Let me know. I don't think this is a dark web video, but liminal space stuff. Interesting. Creepy. Yeah, it could be a dark web video. I don't know. Jesus, so skin crawly already. Oh, bye. That's so creepy. In back rooms, dude. No way. That's so cool. Really well done. I don't know that one. I mean, it looks familiar. It could be a popular one. I don't know, but it's a good one. I like it. It's cool. I'm kind of just getting more into like the specifics of all this kind of stuff with making videos and stuff, and like actually talking about it like that instead of just like kind of mildly consuming it. You know, it's kind of what we're doing here with Blacklight File 237. Is just kind of documenting me reacting to and finding and talking about this kind of stuff. So yeah, Dan, cool analog horror. Analog horror is always super interesting to me.
Okay, I'm gonna turn around here in a second, but there's something straight out of a horror movie following me right now.
That's creepy. Run? So she says, I was on a local walking trail in my small town in the Ozarks, beautiful 80-degree fall day, and I decided to go for a walk. Remote trail, nobody in sight. I suddenly get the urge to look behind me, and this is what I see. Wow, okay. I mean, if that's real, super creepy. Get out of there. That sounds incredibly dangerous and horribly uncomfortable. So, ooh.
2013, 0, 50 and 38 seconds.
911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The state just pushed some guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. You got to chase it to the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me.
One more not talking to him. I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, no, I need the call.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Wow, that's incredibly unnerving. Man, I'm reading here in the comments, it said they found his remains in 2022. No questions were answered as to like what had happened. His phone, his wallet, and keys were like still there. They say he died of exposure officially, supposedly. I don't know. It's an interesting one to look into. Man, those kind of cases are really creepy where people go missing and there's like these weird small records of it. And it seems like some sort of foul play thing happened. But it just kind of gets, you know, closed and moved on from. Yeah, he accidentally ran into them. There's no talking. And then they say he shot one of them. Oh, man, that's a horror movie. Like literally a horror movie. Oh, man, it's horrible.
Okay, Dad, she is fed and feisty. What are you doing, baby? Okay.
Appalachia.
So fed her, I will feed
Could get weird.
Okay. Okay.
Holy shit.
Okay. Okay, okay.
That's so creepy.
Oh my god. Stop!
I imagine set up, very cinematic of the way it was done, but very cool, very interesting, very creepy, very immersive, very it drew me in for sure. Dude, don't.
Where were you?
Stop with the uncanny voice thing.
Save me. Why didn't you protect me? I was dying and you didn't even notice. You were supposed to be there for me, Mom.
Yeah, this just saw somebody standing in the middle of the road supposedly and filmed that. Oh man, that's like Us. There's like Jordan Peele movie. Get out of here.
It was a hologram.
Do you remember the guy who did the 911 call and he was like, "It's not human. It
I
is
do
not
remember
human."
that.
Well, I've been waiting to find an interview with him, and I finally have found it. Take a listen to this.
Finally, I get a chance to meet you. I got to tell you, I heard the 911 call a couple of months ago, actually. And it's been a little bit of a challenge to, get the sheriff's schedule, my schedule, and finally now we've got your schedule all worked out so that we can talk to you and get you to tell your story. Obviously, we're not going to share your name or your face. Totally understand that. But after talking with you, clearly your voice is the voice that's on that 911 call. So if you would, just start wherever you want to. We want to hear the whole story. Take as much time as you need.
I guess I'll start from the beginning of the trip. I was coming up from Florida to visit my family. At the time, I was going to a trade school down there, and when I was driving up here to where the incident occurred by the battlefield, it was already easily like well into the morning. I wasn't looking at my phone. I just know it was pitch black outside, and it was pitch black. I couldn't see the moon, stars, nothing, just barely the road through my headlight. And I had my window down because the AC wasn't working the best. And as I was coming around, there's a massive right curve right there before you cross the Black River. And then after that, you have the battlefield. So on that massive black curve, as I'm coming around, I had just started the curve and I was about a third of the way through it. And I look over into the ditch on my right because I caught a quick glimpse of something, and as I take a further look, it looks like there's I'd say probably a 30-something-year-old man standing in that ditch wearing what looks like an old Civil War uniform, just covered head to toe in blood. And the uniform was
maybe it was a ghost.
Well. That threw me off because I didn't expect to see it at like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, I'm calling 911 after I see him to report that because, for all I know, it could have just been a normal guy that was injured and needed emergency help. It looked like what had happened is he hit his head on something.
Okay.
And the blood was just pooling down over his face and torso.
Okay.
And, well, as I was calling, everything seemed perfectly normal, just quick phone call to 911, let them know, hey, there's a guy out here, and try to find somewhere safe to park so that way I can take them to him. Well, as you know from the 911 call, right as soon as I reported that, I already had my window up at that point. All of a sudden, I heard a massive bang on my truck, and my truck bounced down from the rear, like I was pulling a heavy trailer and I hit a pothole.
Wow.
And so I'm sitting there going, what the hell was that? Which I'm pretty sure you heard me yell, what the hell? I turned on my bed light, and I looked in my rearview mirror, and all I saw was this white, like snow white face right up against my rear windshield, like it was looking into my truck trying to see what it could see. It had shallow sunken eyes. It had no nose. Just think if you took skin and put it on a human skull and stretched it thin. Couldn't see any ears, just that. and immediately I just started screaming. I didn't realize until afterwards that I had said that's not human on the call, because
Wow.
it was just the first thing I started screaming because I was terrified. I didn't have my firearm with me, nothing. All I had was a wood splitting axe. So that's all I had. So, and my truck is loud as is, and it picks up speed fairly easily. Well, my truck at the time, it had a gas-powered 6-liter V8 Vortec on it, and it was a proper dual exhaust, hence why I had the window up, because that truck is nice and loud.
Okay.
Well, I'm doing in between like 55, 60 miles an hour when this happens, and I just stomped on the gas for a second. When I looked at the speedometer before I slammed on my brakes, I was doing maybe 80.
Wow.
And I slammed on those brakes with all my might, and I went from like 80 miles an hour down to like 35 in just like a couple of seconds. And all I see is this super scrawny long body just fly over my truck in a ball rolling. And as I'm
Some Men in Black shit, man.
then swerve to the left and get back in the travel lane, and I floor it. And as I'm swerving to the left, I see it stand up, and it is easily taller than that truck.
They're all so
I'm
big,
5'10".
too. All these entities.
The truck is about 2 inches taller than I am, and this thing
Said he was
easily
5'10".
like maybe 7 feet.
That's crazy.
And as I pass it, I look in my mirror and I see it bolt to the left into the woods, and it looked like some, I don't even know what the hell, because it had.
It was Mr. Burns from The
It
Simpsons.
looked like somebody
I
took
bring
a
you
normal human
love.
and stretched them out, starting with the limbs. Wow. It like abnormally long legs and arms, and it just took off into the woods. And I just said, nope, I'm out of here. I'm not staying to figure out what this is.
Dude, no way.
And
I'd be so
there's
scared.
a gas station all the way at the corner where the highway intersects. And I pulled into that gas station. I was doing like 90 all the way to that gas station.
Yeah,
'cause that was
boy.
the
Me too.
only place with any
Me too.
light that I saw.
Right.
And I just stopped in that parking lot and waited like 10, 15 minutes for state troopers to show up. Well, next thing I know, the state troopers show up at the gas station, and I'm just staring back at that road. To make
Just waiting
sure
for it,
that
dude.
It's not
For
coming
sure, I would
back,
be too.
right? So I tell
So
them
scary.
what happened. They proceed to look at my truck, look in the bed of the truck, look on top of the cab, and on top of the cab, clear as day, you can see like it was scratching trying to get into my truck.
Really?
Or when it initially hit, another way to look at it is when it hit the back of the truck and landed in the bed, like it had latched onto the hood for a
that's what I
second
was
and
thinking.
scraped, trying to balance itself. Yeah. And you could see that clear as day. I mean, there was a couple of scratches from like squirrels and tree branches, but those stuck out.
Nothing
It looked
compared
like
to
it
that, I
landed
bet.
like this and just ripped backwards. And well, they asked me to take them approximately where it happened. And I mean, when it's the middle of the night and you're going the opposite direction of where you just came, your sense of direction's a little off.
Right.
So I took them back to approximately where I believe it was, because I couldn't see. I didn't remember any landmarks because I was going from the other way. But there was an S curve, and I think I took them. I think I might have taken them on accident to the S curve, but the incident happened before that S curve because I hit that S curve going about 65 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour. I still remember the jolt of the truck, the fear, everything. I remember pretty much everything just in that one moment. I looked at the truck the next morning. Sure enough, scratch marks are right there on the roof of the truck.
What were the reaction of the law enforcement officers that showed up?
The law enforcement officers, when they showed up, they were skeptical. Although now they might not be as much. But at the time, the troopers especially seemed skeptical. Parks and Wildlife, when they flew the drone, they seemed more curious than anything, and
Interesting.
EMS was more like, okay, are you okay? And they went and looked for the other guy and couldn't find him.
So the state patrol were there,
Yes.
EMS,
Yes.
wildlife,
and
the sheriff's department.
Yes.
I guess because we interviewed the sheriff, so
Yes.
he had deputies out.
And I think one of them might have broken off after the initial contact with me, but I know one of them was with me because I was still in fight or flight when they told me, "Hey, can you go back and show us?"
Yeah, right.
Because I do not want
You have to?
I don't.
I don't blame you at all. I don't blame you at all.
I still refuse to drive through that area at night because
I don't know. I think he's telling the truth.
I think so too.
Because why wouldn't he show his face and stuff? I guess. Because, you know, if you're going to show your face, that means you're trying to get something out of it. And he's not doing that.
True.
I think he's genuinely scared about it. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh man, yeah, I think it's something. I think it's definitely something unexplainable. I've heard a very similar story about Dogman. Very interested in Dogman. That's kind of like one of my favorites right now. Ever since I found out about it, it's like super interesting. Belief Hole podcast is one of my favorite podcasts, and they talk about Dogman quite frequently. They have like specific Dogman episodes and stuff. Go check them out on YouTube. It's really fun stuff. But yeah, man, I heard a really interesting similar story to this one about Dogman. A guy in like in a classic car in like a old Mustang or something like that. You know, burning down a road like this, like a middle of nowhere in the woods, comes around a curve. I believe there was a curve in the story somewhere. And the Dogman just kind of comes running next to his car, and he's going fast. So it's like this thing so fast, and it's like grabbing on the side of his car and like leading into the window, into his windshield or whatever. Not his windshield, but his passenger side window. And like scraping along the sides of it and stuff, and he finally loses it or whatever. But like him telling the story kind of reminded me of this guy telling this story, because you can like feel and hear that emotion there, and it just kind of, either they're really good actors or they're just you know, they can't hide it. You can't hide how you feel about something like that, because it's kind of, so I guess it'd be life-changing because you've never seen anything like that. You can't relate it to anything explainable. It's just one of those things that's going to like kind of boggle your mind and scare the crap out of you. And that's kind of the thing, too, about like the theory on Dogman and some other entities, too, is that maybe they're kind of like Pennywise from It. Maybe they're kind of like a fear eater thing. Because I heard another story about a guy being chased by a Dogman, and he said like he definitely could have gotten him. It was like right behind him, chased through the woods kind of thing. And he was incredibly scared than he'd ever been in his life, you know, and he thinks it was more that. It was more the energy that this thing was feeding off of to, you know, thrive or whatever. Didn't necessarily need to, like, eat him or whatever. But I don't know, man. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this story? Do you think it's real? Do you think he's lying? Do you think he's fibbing? Do you think he's telling the truth? Do you think it's some sort of crawler entity? What do you think this Civil War guy with the blood and stuff had to do with it? That's an interesting one. I didn't know about that aspect of it until now. And, oh, well, that kind of throws it for a different kind of loop, doesn't it? Because you think crawler, you think rake type entity. You don't think Civil War ghost for sure. I don't, at least. So is there a correlation there? Is this some sort of Bermuda Triangle-esque area, like a portal's open and there's other multiple entities coming in and out? It's a theory I've always had too about like Bigfoots and Dogmen and stuff, and it's like maybe that's why we can't find them, is because maybe they have access to some interdimensional thing and they're able to come here and do what they want to do and then go back, and that's, you know, they leave no trace maybe. I don't know. I've always kind of thought maybe something like that. But I don't know, man. Let me know what you think in the comments on that one.
Well, I was just walking in the cornfields, minding my own business. Typical Friday night in Indiana. Thought I was all by myself, but apparently I was not.
Creepy.
I'm talking quietly because I'm a little frightened.
Oh.
This is happening.
Okay. Midsummer out here? What's going on with this? A24?
Get closer. They're not even acknowledging their presence. And I don't really have any friends.
They're in the zone.
Wanted to do something
locked in, as the kids say.
Because it is a Friday, so I'm just gonna see what's going on.
Hey, what's up? See if you want to hang out.
so weird. There's so many weird things happening out here all the time. You really never know. What?
If this isn't set up,
What? Here, I'll show you guys a better angle.
it could be set up, obviously. But
Pretty night. Well, I guess I'm just gonna hang out here for a little bit with my new friends, and yeah. So I hope you guys are having a good night too.
locked in. I like this. Why do I feel like you're the leader? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the trick. Get you out there, get you interested. What's going on? She could be the leader. Yeah, exactly. When she said closer, I didn't think she would get that close. Like, what, bro? Oh, man. That's such a weird video. Yeah, plot twist. She's in control of them. Maybe.
This video comes from an unknown source on the internet that says that he's got some sort of bizarre creature watching him from his sunroom, and things get really bizarre. Just take a look.
Hey, Mike, I need you.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
A bit. Yeah.
Wait till you see the video. I got it on video. It's
Okay, good.
This is like one out of a million things that people will not. They'll think they won't think I'm crazy no more. Wait till you see this. Oh my God! It's like you should see this thing, Mike.
Things progressively get worse when the creature starts making really erratic and bizarre movements all over the place and just seems to watch whoever's recording this video for an unknown amount of time. Whoever the person is behind the camera decides to call their friend, and they begin praying, and things get much worse.
Oh, geez.
He has one of the things the enemy is being attacked by you.
Weird. Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
I mean, it's creepy. It could be AI, but it's creepy.
Something's going on, man. This thing is.
He's like, he's getting down, he's
After they
dancing.
begin praying, the creature starts having these insanely bizarre movements until it just vanishes into the forest. What do you guys think this possibly was?
One thing that has never set right with me is the death of Andrew Dawson. He supposedly took his own life after going mega viral on TikTok for seeing a giant on a mountaintop back in 2022. If you've already heard this story, I want you to drop your theories in the comments because I want to know what you all think about this. And if you have not heard this story, just stick around because this is a wild ride.
I've heard some of this.
Andrew's TikTok is still up because I just went and looked through a lot of his videos, but of course nothing's been posted since 2022 and all of the comments are disabled. Before seeing this giant on the mountain, he was a very normal dude. But then things take a strange turn in this video right here.
I've seen this. I didn't know he passed away. I don't think I knew that. It's interesting though, man.
Of course, the
A
video
giant
goes
person.
mega viral, so he goes back the next day to film it again and sees nothing.
Keep it steady for you guys. And it's not even there anymore, too.
In the next video, he attempts to go up to the mountain because there is a road that goes up to that area, but he is stopped and told to turn around and that he cannot proceed up the mountain.
This is him.
I didn't know about this.
What's going on?
Road's closed. Turn around.
Really?
Yeah, man. Just.
And then after that incident, he posts multiple videos of where he is being watched outside of his house by an unmarked car.
I think that's the same vehicle from. Hey!
The part that really creeps me out though
Could
is
be
he
all
said
set
to
up,
the last video
but-
that he ever posted, stating that this was all just a big hoax. But watch this video because it
I don't
looks
know.
like someone is making him read a script or telling him what to say, and he looks terrified.
Hey guys, I just want to give you an update. I'm not dead. I have not disappeared. I have just been busy with life. I couldn't get around to posting and updating you guys, so now I'm going to give you an official update of what's been going on. Sorry to disappoint you guys, but all of the videos that I post, all the videos that I posted were scripted. They're just fake. They were just strictly for entertainment. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys.
It's weird.
I just needed to give
It's
you
kind of
a-
weird. He's wearing a triangle on his shirt. Illuminati confirmed.
Becomes increasingly paranoid and
Allegedly.
does this.
Might not see me post ever again. My videos weren't fake.
And then
His
there's that.
final video was posted on May 17th of 2022, and it showed what appeared to be like a military base that all of a sudden popped up on the mountain. After that final post, it went radio silent on his TikTok page, and then 2 months later, on July 1st of 2022, is when his obituary came out.
Wow.
I mean, I guess you could say that this is all just a big hoax, but
Could
the
be.
fact that he took his own life
It's weird, though.
2 months after finding this creature on the mountain, and then if you look back at his previous post before he found this giant walking on the
Normal
mountain,
stuff, I bet.
he was very normal. And then you see him just progressively get more paranoid.
Could be mental health. Could be a number of things, but
Drop in the comments what you think happened to him, what you think this was on the mountain.
yeah, same here. Like, let me know what you think this whole situation is about. I think giants may possibly be real, allegedly. So it's interesting to me when this kind of stuff happens, when you see this kind of information come out, and then, dark men in blacky kind of figures kind of come out the woodwork and then make things go away. Maybe, allegedly. I don't know, man. I'd have to take a better look at the original video to see what I think of it again, because it's been a minute since I've seen that. But I do remember that, and that's another one that's kind of always interests me, is the Giants. Not the football team, the entity.
There's a very well-documented case of a skinwalker that comes out of Phoenix. Now, there was this guy who came forward, and he said that his mother lived next to like a couple 100 acres of desert. And he said, he was often afraid because she lived alone, but she did not want to move. Well, one night, she awoke at like 2 in the morning, and her dog was barking at the door. So she got up and figured he needed to go outside and use the bathroom. So she puts him on the leash, and she starts walking him around the backyard. She said that's when she heard what sounded like her husband's voice coming from out in the desert behind some brush. She heard the voice say, "Are you there? Are you still there?" And she said, she called out her husband, Ingram, like, is that you? Is that you, Ingram? And she said the voice responded back, "Yes. Now come out here into the desert. Like, come behind this brush."
Oh, man, I've heard so many stories of that.
And she's like, "No, Ingram, you are deceased." And so she took off running with the dog back into the house.
Oh, creepy.
Well, for several weeks, she would have something knocking at her door, banging at her windows. When she would go to answer the door, there would be no one there. She would hear laughs and screams coming from outside. And she, eventually told her son about what had happened. And he come over to the house a couple times, and he couldn't find anything or find anyone. They reached out to the police. The police set up patrols. They couldn't find anything or catch anyone that was harassing this old lady. And then she said one night there was a really bad thunderstorm. And after the thunderstorm had stopped, she hears a knock at the door. She goes to answer it, and when she opens the door, she's surprised to see her husband, Edgar.
What?
And she was so excited that she almost gave him a hug. But then she was like, wait a second. He's been deceased for, a couple of years.
Yeah.
And she said it looked like Edgar, but it was just like his face was just, something was off about it. It almost looked rubbery, kind of like the skin, was hanging off the cheekbone. And she said this thing that looked like her husband said, "Are you here still? It's me, it's Edgar. Like, let me in the house and give me a hug." And like, she was like, "No, Edgar, you're deceased. You're not real. Like, you're not here." And she said he kept saying, "Just let me in the house. Come on, I am real. I'm your husband." And so she said she pushed him away because he moved in like close on her. And as she pushed him away, she said he felt like ice cold. He turned and then ran off into the desert.
Oh, wow.
So immediately she calls her son, who he calls the police. They go out there, they search the area, they couldn't find anything. Now, her son started to think like, okay, maybe she's losing it as she's getting older. Because like, we never see anything. And this, sounds pretty crazy what she's explaining. Until one night he happened to pull in front of her house. And he said he sees this man standing next to her door. And when he locked eyes with him, he could see that he had these bright yellow eyes. And he said this man turned, took off running towards the desert, but he got down on all fours.
Oh,
just
wow.
like an animal. There's a very well-documented case.
Yeah, man, definitely some skinwalker activity there, dude. That's super creepy. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Yeah, definitely one I want to look more into. I'm going to save this video and see what information I can find on this, and I don't know, maybe dig more into this particular case and see if there's any interviews or anything out there. Because, yeah, man, whenever you can get like the multiple people sighting of one case, that definitely kind of doesn't necessarily solidify it for me, but it definitely helps to lean me in the direction of wanting to believe even more. Yeah, man, super cool story.
Just going through the dark woods and everything, right? About to be sunset. Spooky thing, though. My truck is saying that there's people around me.
Whoa.
There's no people around me. But my truck says.
That's so creepy.
My truck says. People.
If real creepy.
Watch. If I slow down, they'll catch up. See? Right next to my... There's no one here. Okay.
Weird.
This is really creepy. Last night in Long Beach, California, we had an elderly woman who had a strange encounter with something she can't explain.
All right. Let's see.
I don't know exactly what it is, but it definitely is eerie. At around 9:55 p.m. last night, this woman at her home in Long Beach said she had let her dog outside into the backyard. Now, it was a small yard. It was a fenced-in area, and she had went inside to take a phone call. After the phone call was done, she said it was maybe 15 minutes or less. She goes back outside. She notices the dog is barking at something on the other side of this picket fence. So as she approaches it, she said she sees something standing on the other side. It is on all fours. She said it looked like a person that was kind of crawling around near the fence.
Wow.
And it was making some sort of hissing or clicking sound at the dog. And it was causing the dog to go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets closer to the dog and she says, come on, like, get inside now. And she said as it was alerted to her presence, this thing sort of took off. And she said as it took off, she could tell that it had these bright red-colored glowing eyes.
Mm.
And she said, as far as she could tell,
Humanoid.
it ran off out to the
Shapeshifter.
neighbor's yard and then took off into the street. She did not see where it went, but she said she definitely felt like this was something not human, nor was it an animal. And she said it was about as big as a person, probably around 6 to 7 foot tall.
Crawler.
And
Like similar to the car
she
thing.
couldn't make
the
out
truck.
any sort of identifiable characteristics, but she said it definitely did sort of look human.
Wow.
This is really creepy.
It's really creepy. Yeah, there's so many of these stories like this. That's what's very interesting to me with the crawler rake skinwalker story is that, man, there's just so many cases of stories that sound exactly like this. Yeah, how many of them are made up? Who knows? With the internet these days and clicks and stuff. I'm not saying this guy's making his stories up or anything, but these days with Reddit and like all these different stories you hear, you never really know. But yeah, I feel like a lot of these, there's got to be some truth to some of them at least. It's what they said about Bigfoot for years. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people think there's truth to it because there's so many stories for so many years. But who knows? It could just be, a myth, an urban legend thing that just carried on. Maybe there was truth to it back in the day. Maybe not so much anymore. Who knows? But yeah, man, definitely want to look more into this crawler rake thing. Definitely want to find some creepy areas and see what I can see in real life. Who knows? Maybe we can run into something. Who knows? Or maybe not. Maybe not.
There's cars here, and they're all literally dusty.
Oh, look, 'cause I'm gonna drive around. I bet there's nobody
And
in the
it's
fucking
dark. It's dark inside this gas station, and there's nobody in their fucking car.
Whoa.
Look at this one.
That one's nice. It's just sitting there. Why are the cars dusty as fuck? The lights off. See, this one dusty too.
Yeah, they've been sitting there a minute.
There. Hay
Weird.
for sale. What the fuck?
There's a fucking, what is that, a donkey?
What?
Right there.
Oh, what the fuck?
Fucking donkey. Alright.
What the?
I don't know, man. Stuff like that's so weird to me. It's so just odd and out of place and feels interdimensional or like some sort of weird shift. Feels liminal. Yeah, it just gives me a creepy, weird, odd feeling that I can't explain, but it feels really familiar. If that makes any sense. I don't know. I like it though.
October 6th of 2022, a group of hunters known as the Hunting Public on YouTube were out in a remote area of Missouri, and they began to hear something disturbing in the distance. And while they couldn't see who it was, They could make out some of the words, and it disturbed them so much that they stopped what they were doing and began to record. And it started to paint a gruesome picture. Take a look.
It's incredibly off-putting. What the fuck? No way, dude. That's so scary.
I keep getting chills all down my back.
Yeah.
I've never witnessed anybody screaming like that.
Oh my god.
Something not good's going on.
At this point, they were trying to pinpoint an area so they could notify authorities. But what happens next is truly bizarre.
Oh my god.
Now they safely made it out of the woods,
Oh,
but when the
that's
authorities
horrible.
arrived, they never found anything. And this footage is the only evidence that anything ever happened at all. But let me know what you think.
Yeah, man, sounds like something really bad went down, and they were around for that. That's so horrible. Ooh, man. Very unnerving, creepy. This makes me think about just horrible situations I've seen in some of these like extreme horror films where people are out in the middle of nowhere and just some horrible things happen to them. Oh, man. That's scary. I wonder if there's a case around that. I wonder if there's anything that was ever recovered or anything. Any evidence of any kind of foul play or anything going on. Anyone going missing or anything in that area, I wonder. I don't know. Creepy. I'm going to save that one too so I can look into more of that.
When it comes to skinwalkers, New Mexico is number one. Then you have Arizona, and third, I would say, is Texas. Now, more specifically, the western region of Texas has a significant number of skinwalker sightings. This specific story takes place outside of Odessa, Texas, right near the New Mexico border. There was this rancher named Roy. Roy purchased this 1,000-acre ranch, and when he first moves onto the property, he said he was confronted by this Native American man. And he said this man told him that on your property are these mounds. And he said, those are burial mounds. They're sacred to my people. Whatever you do, do not disturb them. He said, use all of the land, but leave those mounds alone. So Roy said, okay, whatever, I'm not anticipating touching them even. So after a year of Roy living on this ranch, he needed to expand and he needed to grow his ranch. So he started looking into this area where the mounds were. And one day he brings his tractor out there and gets ready to kind of clear this land. Well, as he started up his tractor and started to go towards the mound, he said he started to hear what sounded almost like Native American music and chants. And he said the closer he got to these mounds, the louder it got. And then finally, he said he heard a really loud, hey. And when he looked over out behind the mounds, he said there was a Native American man standing there. And he had these glowing eyes.
Oh, wow.
And he was there for a brief second, and then he just disappeared. So Roy was like, okay, this is weird, like maybe I need to get some sleep. So he goes back to his house, and he lays down. Well, later that night, he awakes to just kind of like a very stillness in the air. And he said that's when he heard very clearly something say, get out of here now. And a second time, he hears it, get out of here now. And a third time, get out of here now. So he jumps up out of bed and he goes all around his house. He cannot find anyone and he has no idea where this sound is coming from. And that's when he hears it a fourth time, and he goes over to his window in the bedroom. And when he looks out, he said he's seen this owl sitting up in the tree.
Wow.
And as he looked directly at this owl, it said, "Get out of
Wow.
here now."
Creepy.
And then he said it flew off into the tree, up into the sky. So a couple weeks pass, and he's like, you know what? I got to clear that field. Like, I got to take out those mounds and expand the ranch. So he goes out there again with his tractor. And as he begins to start clearing these mounds, he said that's when he seen this pack of coyotes. And they started coming closer and closer towards him. And he noticed that their eyes were glowing. And he said they would not let him get anywhere near these mounds. And that scared him. So much so that he went back to the house and said, I will never touch those mounds again.
Yeah, dude.
And still to this day,
Wow.
those mounds sit there.
So interesting.
When it comes to skinwalkers,
Man, yeah, just like the shapeshifter aspect and how they're kind of tied into all the animals, and you got the coyote and the owl and stuff like that. Man, there's such like there's something going on like a spiritual level that we just don't really know about as far as like us. I feel like Native American people might know a little bit more about this. Again, skinwalkers and stuff like that, very surface level. So definitely something I want to look more into. Check this guy's channel out, give him a follow real quick, and save this one, and we will look into some more of his stuff, man.
All right, y'all, come on in here now. I got a story. It's good, and I want to tell you. Now, before I get started, I want to tell you, I'm going to tell this story exactly the way it happened. At the end of this story, you can believe it or not believe it. It's up to you, but I'm going to tell it just like it was. Now, this took place in 1978. I was a junior in high school. I was a member of a hunting club, deer club, down in Hancock County. There ain't nothing in Hancock but a whole lot of good deer hunting. Now, this piece of land we had a big old pecan grove on it and an old house that sat out in that grove, probably a couple 100 yards off the road. Well, a bunch of us got together and we went down there and we cleaned up and fixed up this old house so we could stay in it. We put some beds, some cots, a wood heater, and an old gas stove and a gas tank out back. Now, the back of this house had an L-shaped porch on it, but no steps. They was rotted and gone. Had a door that went into what used to be the kitchen of this old house. Now, this porch was just piled high. It looked like somebody had just cut up all different lengths of lumber and firewood and just throwed it up on this porch. It wasn't stacked. It was just throwed up there. Didn't have no order to it. So I had an uncle at this time. He's gone on now by the name of Freddie. Now, Freddie loved to deer hunt about as much as I did. So we decided I was going to lay out of school on a Thursday and a Friday. And we was going to go down there and hunt till Sunday. I got out of school on Wednesday afternoon, got my stuff, and he was sitting there waiting on me, and we headed out. Now, all we had was a bunch of canned goods and some loaf of bread and 3 or 4 gallons of water. The house didn't have no lights and didn't have no running water. We got down there, and it was dark, fired up the wood heater. We done stopped and got us a hamburger on the way, so there wasn't nothing to do but go to bed. Now, it was late in the deer season. I don't know, it could have been late November, early December, but it was late in the deer season, and the temperature had been staying in the 20s during the day and dipping down in the teens at night. And all we had was just a bunch of quilts and covers. We didn't have no sleeping bag or no gear or nothing. We was just roughing it. So we was laying there listening to the old stove just crackle and pop, enjoying the sound of the fire. About 12 o'clock, there was a pack of coon dogs opened up and started running a coon. Now, I've been around hunting dogs, and other people that's been around them know that every dog's voice sounds different, just like a human, and I could count about 5 dogs in that pack. And they started this race out there in that pecan grove, and they was headed toward the house. And I told Freddie, I said, Freddie, I believe if they keep coming the way they're coming, they're going to tree that coon right out back of this house. He said, yeah, I think so. Well, they got closer and they got closer, and I said, they're going to tree that coon right here behind the house. All of a sudden, that coon come up on that porch. I heard him when he jumped up on it, and he must have had him a den down in all that old firewood and busted up lumber and everything. But anyway, he jumped up on that porch, and just a split second behind him, here come them dogs. They bailed up on that porch, and I mean, they had that coon hemmed up against the door. That coon was squawking and a barking. Them dogs was barking and growling, and they were all up on that wood, and you could hear wood a falling and hitting the ground. It sounded like they was going to tear the back of that house down. Old door was just a shaking. Now, we had took and nailed a board against that door on the inside, because the door opened to the inside so that nobody come in there. I told Freddie, I said, Freddie, if we don't bust this race up, we ain't going to get no sleep. He said, tell you what we're going to do. He said, you jerk that board off that door. He said, I got my pistol. I'll get my pistol, and when I tell you to open that door, you open that door. And I'll shoot out there above the dogs, and it'll break it up. And I said, yeah, we'll do that. So I went over there and got it off the door, and I had the old doorknob in my hand, and the doors is shaking. I got my foot up against it so they can't push it open, and the dogs are just clawing, and I mean, you ought to heard it. Just wood just flying everywhere back there and falling everywhere. It sounded like it's gonna tear the house down. I looked at Freddie, and he was standing there and had that pistol pointed up, looked like old Doc Holliday about to throw down on somebody. He said, now when I holler now, you jerk that door open and get out of the way. So he hollered down, I jerked the door open, got out of the way, looked back, and he had that pistol was pointed straight down to the floor, and he was white as a sheet. I looked outside, and I looked back at him, I looked back outside. There ain't no coon, there ain't no dog, there ain't no wood been disturbed. Everything was just like it was.
That's
I grabbed my
crazy.
flashlight, run out the front door, and run around the back. There ain't no sign of anything being back there.
That's insane.
Come back in, Freddie's got everything he owns rolled up in a quilt, headed out the door. I said, where you going? He said, we going home.
Yeah, dude.
Get your stuff and come on now.
With Freddie. Get
I
out of
got
here,
in
dude.
the truck, and we headed down the road. It must have been an hour before he said anything, and he said, that really did happen, didn't it? And I said, well, if it didn't, we both imagined the same thing. Wow. He said, Terry, there's 3 things I ain't never going to do again. He said, I ain't never going to spend the night in that house again. I ain't never going to hunt in the evening time again, and I ain't never going to tell nobody. Now, it's been over 20 years since I told this story, and this is only the 4th time I've ever told it. I'm going to leave it up to y'all. Y'all can believe it or
Wow.
not, but that's exactly what happened.
How do you even
But
explain that?
Thank you for listening.
I've had a similar experience like that where it's like a shared moment in time where something happens that didn't happen in reality. And I'll have my own episode where I talk about some of the things I've experienced in real life that are similar to this kind of thing. Nothing to this extreme. It's pretty weird, the one I have. I'm not going to tell it in this video. I'll make a separate video for that, and I'll talk about some of the stuff I've actually experienced in real life. But yeah, these ones kind of get me because it's like, wow, how do you explain that? Just both simultaneously experiencing something and then how it's gone. And then there's, no evidence of it happening. What is that? Is that a shift in dimension? Is that some sort of shared hallucination? Is that or a shared shift, into the past, or, an alternate reality, maybe? I don't know. Interesting. It's a good one.
Just down here, checking out the pond. It is even lower than it has been. I think, I said a couple weeks ago it's the lowest it's been, and here we are. So, a bunch of people told me to drain it to see if we could find a snapper, but I didn't want to, but I think it's just naturally happening anyway. There's our overflow pipe, and that's really how we tell the water level. And honestly, I don't think that it's ever been this low. What is that? see that? No, the looks like a face. Do you see it?
Does look like a face.
It looks like a face in the mud. Is it just me?
It could be an optical
Okay,
illusion.
tell me if you see a face in there.
I don't know. Might not be real. I don't know what it is.
Just down here, checking out the pond.
And just getting some fresh air. And I wanted to thank everybody for getting that video to 1 million views. That was pretty crazy. I didn't expect that at all. Usually I'm stuck in like the 200-300 range, but out here in Appalachia, we kind of experience some really weird stuff, and it's hard to explain. But I like hanging back in the woods.
Oh, creepy. You know something's bad around, man. Predator.
It's just really creepy sometimes. You know? Do you guys...
Get out of there, dude.
All the noise just disappeared.
Unsettling.
Time to go.
Unsettling.
Have we all collectively seen the video of the girl that posted what she found on her everyday run? She just
I saw that.
came across a random. All I can say is it looks like a piece of a spaceship or a piece of a planet. She posted the video 3 days ago, and she shows on the video there's no plaque, there's no anything to identify it. It just showed up in the middle of a field out of nowhere, like a park.
It's weird.
So she contacts local Parks and Rec. They don't have any idea where it came from. So now she's looking into it to see if it's an art installation, and she even says in her video she most likely thinks that's what it is, except it's been multiple days now, and no one has followed up with her. She has no answers. And in the video on this thing that's just sticking out of the ground, that looks like it fell from the sky into the ground or came out of the ground, like she jokes in the video, it has like hieroglyphs on it and carvings. And one of them literally looks like a little spaceship. Like, it could very clearly be an art installation, but there's nothing to... Just look at the video and let me know if you've seen it and what you think.
It's weird.
But she's reached out to even a different agency, she said, and they just replied to her, interesting. Where is this at?
Mm-hmm.
Check it. Look at this thing.
They don't
Tell me
even
what you
know.
think.
Because it appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's
There's
so
not a
strange.
single plaque around it. It looks like it either came up from the ground or plopped down from the sky.
And the fact that I've watched her follow-up videos, and she still has no answers. So let me know what you
Weird.
think.
Okay, I'm actually freaking out right now. I just received the most terrifying audio. I'm going to play it for you guys because I want to know what you all think this could be. It's from a guy that used to work as a tour guide in an underground cave system in East Tennessee. Take a listen to this audio and then I'll explain his story. Y'all, what was
Weird.
that? Apparently the cave that he was working at the time, it had an underground lake, and he would give boat rides on the lake down there under this cave. This is after all the tours had ended for the day, and he was still down in the cave just wrapping up for the night when he started to hear this strange growling noise coming from inside the cave. He said he has never heard anything like this before. He explains that he just felt an overwhelming sense of like heaviness and almost like an evil presence in the cave at the time. Him and his coworker are looking around trying to figure out what this is. There is lights obviously down there in the cave for people to see, but as they are looking around, the lights started to flicker and then they just shut off completely.
No way.
His coworker is the one that actually pulled out his phone and recorded the audio of whatever this creature is. He says that sometimes animals and things can get down in the cave, obviously, but nothing that has ever made this sort of noise. And then also, why are the lights flickering and why did the lights go out?
Yeah, if true,
Sometimes
weird.
It gets even scarier. He said that they have these like headlights that they use, so he pulled that out. Him and his coworker put them on, was shining around trying to see where the noise was coming from after the lights had went off, and they saw this creature. He said he saw it very briefly because whatever it was going super fast, crawling up the side
Like
of
the
the
Descent,
cave wall,
dude.
and then disappeared into a hole in the ceiling of the cave. He describes it as being a very light gray color with super long limbs and being very, very thin.
Dude, the
Almost
rake
like
again.
reptilian in nature is what he said. He said his experience terrified him so bad that he quit the next day. What do you all
Okay.
think this
That's
could
real.
be?
That's
Leave it in the comments.
crazy.
Have you ever heard of anything like this?
Man, interesting. Super creepy and super weird. Just you never know what's down there. You know what I mean? It kind of reminds me of the story of the guy who, like, I think it was an Australian guy, I think, and he tried to stay overnight in some creepy cave and was hearing noises and stuff and was like, no, dude, I got to get out of here. Man, you just never know. You know, the movie The Descent is one of my favorite horror films of all time. It's such a great film and just such a creepy concept, man. Humanoid-esque creatures living in the depths of caves like that. Oh, man. Super creepy. But yeah, man, we've been going a while. I think we're going to end it on this one. Yeah, man, that was a super fun time. Finally getting a Blacklight File 237 episode up. I think we covered some pretty good ground, man. We, found some interesting things, kind of, took a peek into some rabbit holes and collected some interesting content that I want to look more into and maybe make some dedicated videos on here in the future. So yeah, man, that's going to do it for this video. I'm Johnny Blacklight. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. Y'all have a good one. And I'll see you next time.